What if I told you that the fastest way to performing at your absolute best isn't about motivation, hustle, discipline, or even a random new shiny strategy or tool, but something you love to do every single night, which is sleep? We often treat sleep as an inconvenience, something we can cut down just to get more done. But what if cutting sleep is actually working against us and is the biggest reason we're losing focus, making bad decisions, and working twice as long for half the result? In this video, I'm going to break down the scientific formula that explains exactly how sleep affects your brain, your work, and your ability to perform at the highest level. I truly want to encourage you to stop running on empty all the time. I'll also show you a graph that proves just how much lack of sleep destroys your productivity. Before we get into formulas, let's look at what science says about sleep and productivity. Essentially, what happens to your brain when you don't sleep enough. The first study is a 1997 study by the University of Pennsylvania looking at how sleep loss mimics alcohol intoxication. They found that getting only 5 to 6 hours of sleep a week is the same as having a blood alcohol level of 0.1%, which is past the legal driving limit in a lot of countries. This means you are making worse decisions, reacting slower, and struggling with focus. This is especially bad when you're trying to change your life or even build a business. The second study is by Harvard Business Review that looked into cognitive decline and decision fatigue. It was found that just one night of bad sleep can reduce your problem-solving ability by 30%. That is huge. Additionally, sleep deprivation weakens your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that is responsible for rational thinking, impulse control, and even long-term decision making. Entrepreneurs and CEOs that sleep less make riskier decisions because their brains tend to default to short-term thinking. And finally, NASA conducted a study on reaction time drops and memory failure, showing that reducing sleep by just 2 hours per night reduces your reaction time by 50%. This is why sleep-deprived driving is even more dangerous than drunk driving. Lack of sleep weakens your memory. Your brain cannot store or recall information properly if you're always tired. How does this actually translate into the real world? Well, when you look at top elite athletes, if they have just one bad night of sleep, they have lower endurance, slower reflexes, and increased injury rates. Looking at the corporate world, corporate professionals tend to experience 40% lower productivity when they average less than 6 hours of sleep per night. And finally, entrepreneurs and leaders are more prone to burnout. They make bad financial decisions when they're sleep deprived. To summarize all of this, sleep is the foundation of peak cognitive and physical performance. The less you sleep, the worse you function. Simple as. Now, let's quantify exactly how sleep affects performance. This is a formula for sleep and productivity. P equals to B times open bracket S divided by D close bracket to the power of E. In this case, P equals to performance and productivity. B is your baseline performance, essentially how well you function when you're fully rested. S is your sleep duration, the number of hours you've slept per day. D is the sleep depth, which is the hours of sleep you've lost over time. And E is the energy recovery factor, which is the extra sleep that you need to restore all the lost energies. Typically, it's about 1.2 to 1.5 times the amount of hours you've lost by not sleeping. Basically, if you miss 14 hours of sleep in a week, that's 24 hours that you need to recover from. And if you pull an all-nighter, let's say you've lost 8 hours, that's 12 hours that you need to recover. How does this equation actually work? Well, if your sleep duration S is high and your sleep depth D is low, your performance stays close to 100%. But if you accumulate sleep debt, your performance drops exponentially, not linearly, as you will see later on. The more sleep debt you accumulate, the harder it is for you to recover and the worse your energy levels become over time. This is why one weekend of catch-up sleep just isn't enough. It takes multiple nights of consistent rest to fully recover. Having a sleep deficit doesn't just make you tired, it destroys your ability to perform at a very high level. Just to clarify, you're probably thinking, if more sleep improves my performance, should I just sleep as much as possible? The short answer is no. Too much sleep can actually hurt your productivity as well, and I will explain this in a moment. Now, let's make all of this clearer with a graph. I always find it easier to learn when I can see what is being talked about. This graph is showing the relationship between sleep, performance, and recovery needs. To break it down, 7 to 8 hours is where you have your optimal sleep and productivity stays at 100%. At 5 to 6 hours of sleep, you have a moderate sleep debt, performance drops to about 75%, you can probably function on that. At 4 hours or less, you're now in dangerous territory. You have a severe sleep debt. Productivity crashes down to below 50%. On the other hand of the scale, when you oversleep, let's say 9 to 10 hours plus, performance declines again due to cognitive sluggishness. So your goal isn't just to sleep more, it is to stay in the optimal sleep range where performance stays high and recovery is very minimal. As you've now clearly seen, just like too little sleep kills productivity, too much sleep can do the same as well. Here are some of the downsides of oversleeping. First is lower energy levels because sleeping 9 hours plus regularly will end up causing more fatigue, not less, a phenomenon that's called sleep inertia. So instead of waking up refreshed, you feel very drained. I have chronic fatigue syndrome, so it's very important for me to get my optimal sleep very right. Then there's decreased brain function because studies have shown that oversleeping reduces your cognitive performance similar to that of sleep deprivation. And finally, higher health risk because it's been linked to heart disease, diabetes, and increased stress level. Essentially, you're spending most of your days sleeping, which isn't really a great thing to be doing in the first place. More sleep isn't always better. The key is balance. So how do high performers, CEOs, and even elite athletes use sleep to gain an edge? They look at sleep as a strategic tool, not as an afterthought. They treat sleep as a performance habit. It's non-negotiable for them. They also track and optimize the sleep quality always. When you listen to podcasts with successful people speaking, you see how much they optimize their personal life, and sleep is one of them. They also tend to recover sleep debt in a strategic way. If they lose sleep, they plan multiple recovery nights, not just one. Let me share my sleep optimization system. Firstly, you need to stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Even on the weekends, I want you to always schedule your sleep like a business meeting. Consistent bedtimes equals better performance. Number 2, use strategic naps and recovery. About 20 to 30 minutes of naps per day boost your energy and memory. I start my day at 4 a.m. So after I've put in about 6 to 8 hours of work, I nap for 1, maybe 2 hours, then I'm back at it again. I find myself more refreshed and ready to go again. Number 3, optimize your sleep environment. Sleep in dark rooms, cool temperatures. We're talking 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. No screens before bed. Ideally 1.5 to 2 hours because you need time for your mind to reduce stimulation. And finally, use magnesium and relaxation techniques because they tend to reduce cortisol, which is better for recovery. I use magnesium tablets and they are godsend for me. I sleep like a baby every single day. I want you to always remember this. Sleep isn't an obstacle to success. It's the foundation for it. If you want to operate at a top 1% level, you want to change your life, you're serious about growing a sustainable business, you need to structure your sleep just like you would structure your business. The question to ask yourself now is, are you using sleep to your advantage or is it silently ruining your productivity? I want you to drop a comment below. Tell me how many hours of sleep you usually get. And also, have you ever noticed a performance drop when you don't sleep well? Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the videos with your friends and probably family as well. Until next time, peace.